All right, hold on one moment. Actually, I think we're good to go. I think we're already live streaming.
All right. Welcome, everyone. I'd like to call the Recreation Committee meeting to order today, June 18th, 2025 at 2:00 p.m. If we can have a brief moment of silence. Amen. All right. Do I have a motion to approve the May 15th? All right. So
Second.
moved. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Moving on. Public participation. Do we have anyone signed up to speak or anyone here? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. If y'all, 2 minutes, if 2 minutes is enough time, please come to the microphone. And I just want to remind you that it's not a question and answer. We have to continue on with our meeting, our meeting business, but, please go ahead.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Chris Maloney. Some of you may know me. I'm here representing Charleston Rugby. We're a collaborative group of local rugby organizations, youth, high school, collegiate, and adult. We're 15 strong right now, and we're continue to grow. I'm also president of the men's local club, the Charleston Outlaws. I'm here today to make you aware of a proposal Charleston Rugby's made to the city for use of Coach Stanley Chisholm Park. I've sent that proposal to the clerk, and hopefully it was distributed to you. You may ask why Coach Stanley Chisholm Park and why now? Coach Stanley Chisholm Park was under a long-term agreement for use by a lacrosse group. It's my understanding that use agreement is no longer in effect. According to the 2002 Parks and Rec Master Plan, Charleston has 31 large rectangular field spaces available. 3 of those are at Coach Stanley Chisholm Park. This is the only park that the Recreation Department has allowed rugby to use in the last 6 to 8 years. The park's big enough to hold 2 regulation-sized rugby pitches. With that in mind, in 2008, the city allowed us to put in goalpost sleeves. This allowed us to put up temporary goalposts to hold matches there. The Outlaws bore the cost of that expense. Unfortunately, the words got out. Now we have multiple rugby groups using the field, and it's leading to scheduling conflicts. And that's the other thing is, sorry, I'm having a little brain fart here. Oh, I'm sorry. So 3 years ago, we would pay $165 for use of the field for a half day. Rates have increased 90%. It's now up to $100.
Thank you.
It's now up to it's $100 an hour, so we're paying over $300 just to host one game, and it's unsustainable. On the plus side, with rugby groups using the field, it's generating money for the city, and that's great.
Okay. Just final thoughts. I'm sorry. We have to keep going. Time limit.
Okay. Well, moving on, if you have the proposal, Charleston Rugby is committed to working with the city to provide a home for rugby. I respectfully ask that you recognize our efforts and create an open dialogue to this end. What we're asking fully aligns with the initiative and goals set out in the city's Parks and Rec Master Plan. Is mutually beneficial. Increased availability for athletics, expand parks use to include the need for users, improve facilities for better use experience, add lighting to existing athletic facilities, and look for partnership and cooperative use opportunities.
All right. Thank you so much. And thank you for being here today.
If you have any questions, reach out to me. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Anyone else signed up to speak?
Scott McLaughlin.
Thank you. And just again, just a two-minute time limit. Okay, thank you.
My name is Scott McLaughlin. I appreciate your time today. I am a third-generation native Charlestonian. I graduated from the Citadel in 2008, moved away for a short period. Got back in 2009, been here ever since. Charleston is where I'm from. I've been a member of the Outlaws. Obviously, I'm here in support of Chris Maloney. Been a member of the Outlaws since 2011. They've been around since 1973. Membership's comprised of tradespeople, doctors, lawyers, armed service members, policemen, all from the local area. And so we comprise a large cross-section of the community. We're very successful as a club. We've been to nationals 3 times, national playoffs 3 times in the last 3 years, previously before as well. And we subsist through membership dues. As you've heard Mr. Maloney say, our costs have increased significantly in the recent past. And my concern is without a less expensive, more permanent home, our solvency is at risk. We can't continue to exist paying the costs we have right now for practice and game fields, subsisting the way we do. And so just here to ask you and urge you to please consider the proposal that Mr. Maloney has put forth.
Great, thank
Thank
you.
you.
And thank you for being here. Anyone else?
Tommy Duffy.
Good afternoon. My name is Tommy Duffy. I am the head coach at James Island Charter High School rugby team. I've been the head coach at the Citadel, and I've also been the head coach at Wheeling Jesuit University, which is Division I top tier team that has won the national championship 3 times. I've been here and I've been in Charleston since for over 17 years now. I've been involved in rugby almost all of that time. I'm also an old boys member of the Charleston Outlaws, and also play for a national team called the Old Breed. One of the things that we've struggled with in Charleston is availability of fields. And I'm here in support with the Outlaws because of the fact that there needs to be at least a space. We've gotten a lot of space, which I'm happy for. Lacrosse has gotten spaces, the soccer's gotten spaces, and the opportunity for youth to be able to play in anything that they choose to play. I'm 100% behind that. But rugby has always struggled. It's struggled for space, it's struggled for accountability. And one of the things that I'm here today is for you to consider Mr. Maloney's proposal. It would be beneficial to not only the Outlaws, but to Charleston youth rugby that is gaining a foothold. Right now, there are 5 teams, high school teams in Charleston alone. And there are 2 more that are coming in this season. There are going to be 17 teams in the state coming up in 2025. And they were always looking for places. And one of the things that we have is we'd like to showcase some of the Charleston, but like, you know, one of the aspects we have is we have limited space to what we can do at James Island. So in bringing teams in to showcase high school teams, having a permanent place where everybody can go to a centralized location would be very beneficial to youth rugby in the Charleston area.
Time.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate you being here. All right. Anyone else? That's everyone. Okay, great. Thank you. All right, moving on. Old business, update on Parks, Recreation, Master Plan. Behind.
You want to take that, Jason?
Mr. Kronberg.
Yeah, I believe the general obligation bond paperwork has been signed, so that's in process for the first borrowing on the rec bond, which would be up to 40 million to start that project work. So right now, we anticipate the first 2 projects being the Johns Island Recreation Center and aquatic component, WL Stevens Pool and Forest Park. Those contracts have been negotiated and legal has reviewed. We will be bringing those to the next council meeting for your approval to continue that process.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Did we not, we already approved a portion of that, right?
The bond, that first
Okay,
bond.
okay. Do we have any next steps on any of the other items? listed on the referendum?
The goal right now is, those are the two top priorities. And then we have Stephen Washington, we have improvements to Stephen Washington, we have plans, well, we have a pool on Bees Ferry, we have playing fields at Bear Swamp, and we have a plan for Dill Track. And also downtown, we have renovations to Martin Park. So those are kind of the priority list that's tied to the bond, the referendum that was submitted. And then kind of list goes further from there. But there'll be a second borrowing from the 40 to get us probably in next year to get us to the full borrowing capacity on that millage.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I heard a lot of good buzzwords in there. I'm sure the committee feels the same way. All right, and thank you, Mr. Kronberg. Moving on, WPAL, a few of these, I'm not sure if you want to take them together, requested by Councilmember Shealy, items 4B, C, and D, or if they're going to be in your updates.
I can go ahead and address them now, and then I'll leave them off on the update.
Wonderful.
So WPAL Park, the building demolition should be commencing in the next week or two and hopefully be complete. The lead and asbestos abatement has been completed, so that first part of cleaning up the site will be completed. And then the Harmony property update is that we closed on the land, 114 acres. That closing happened April 4th, and the city is the proud owner of that and will be managed as open space until other projects come about. The lights at West Ashley Park, Power Dominion started boring the power conduits. Hopefully that'll be completed by the end of August. And then the lights will be installed in phases as that conduit gets completed. So the end of August, hopefully all the lights are installed and energized, and that's lighting for the main roadway into the rear of the park. And then John Donald Rec Center, again, so those proposals will be coming to you at the next council meeting. We've done some conceptual fits on the land as last reported out, and that work is forthcoming.
Wonderful. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you.
Any questions from the committee? I don't see any. All right, and moving on, but before we're on to new business, but do I have a motion from the committee? I believe we have some members that may have to drop off early. So if I can get a motion to move up item 5C, if the committee is okay with that, if we can.
So moved. Second.
All right, we'll move 5C up for discussion. So this is the naming of the Charleston Tennis Center, or I'm sorry, all those in favor? I'm moving it up. Any opposed?
Aye.
All right, wonderful. So the naming of the Charleston Tennis Center on Farmfield Avenue, the City of Charleston Peggy Bond Tennis Center. This was requested by Councilmember Keith Waring. Councilmember Waring, would you like me to start, or do you want to take it?
Let me start off first, and then obviously others can chime in. Thank you, Madam Chair. Ms. Bone worked for the City of Charleston and touched countless people over her 49 plus years working with the City of Charleston. I don't know how many youth she touched during that period of time, how many adults she touched in a period of time. And obviously she didn't do it by herself, but the City of Charleston tennis program actually helped from Ms. Yarborough see that they rose to one of the best municipal tennis programs in the country. I think we were over at Daniel Island recently, and there was some recognition accorded to our tennis program. So anyway, we've had a number of people that have, and people work in excess of 4, almost 5 decades. It goes beyond a paycheck, in my opinion. So I thought this would be a worthy recognition for Ms. Bone. So I put it forth for consideration.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. Waring, Councilman Waring. Yeah, we've gotten the same requests, and Ms. Boehm is certainly a legend in this city when it comes to tennis, and particularly youth tennis. And I believe our own Miss Deek was one of the first students of Miss Boehm. We won't talk about her age, but knows her well. When we were first approached about this, just being new to this in full disclosure, we looked at the policy on naming of buildings in the city, which the city of Charleston does actually have a policy related to that. And it is not required, but is often recommended that the naming of a building is in memory of. So the person that is being honored usually is no longer with us. Again, that there are exceptions to that, I know, but generally speaking, that is how it has been done over the years. So in keeping with that, we suggested that the tennis program itself, particularly the youth program, be named after Miss Boehm rather than the building itself. That would be my preference, but again, I am certainly not opposed to naming the building after Miss Boehm. I'm a little concerned about precedent, but she certainly is a legend, and we want to certainly honor her. So the thought process was to name the program after her, the Peggy Boehm Youth Tennis Tournament. I think they have too. That's pretty known regionally. So that was one alternate suggestion, but I leave it up to the committee to decide how to proceed.
Madam Chair, let me, if it's okay, if I can follow up to that. I certainly understand that, but I think as far as precedent setting, Arthur Christopher Gym over at by Birch campus over there was certainly named after Mr. Christopher before he died. James Lewis apartment complex certainly was named after. I think you were at the ribbon cutting, and Councilman Lewis was, or former Councilman Lewis was there. The Waring Senior Center was certainly named after my father prior to, my father wasn't dead when it was named after him. And obviously we named Joe Riley. It's not a building, but we named Joe Riley Waterfront Park after Mayor Riley. And Mayor Riley was still mayor when we did that in his last term as a fitting. So the policy, I think there's a pretty good precedence already established for people who are alive where buildings were named after them, prior to them being deceased. So.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Madam Chair, I don't know how to raise my hand on this thing. We have to set up.
Councilmember Shealy?
Thank you so much. I appreciate you allowing me to chime in here. I think I was 7 years old when Peggy Boehm started in her position with the Charleston Tennis Center. So I had hundreds of friends that were in her program who now today are successful business people, successful people in our community right now that I know consider her a mentor. And now we have their children coming up, the next generation coming up that have come up through her program as well. And I can't even imagine how many thousands of lives that she's touched. But when I think about some of the people that came up through her program and have worked for her under her program and things like that, I think of people like Angelo Anastapolo. Angelo, as many of you know, is a very successful tennis coach at the College of Charleston right now, and is very well known for his skills. And our mutual friend Jeff Vick, became a tennis pro for a while, worked through all kind of programs and taught hundreds of kids. And I know there's hundreds more like that where she's taken somebody who has turned around, accepted what she has given them, and has turned around and helped hundreds more right here in our community. Back in I can't remember if it was 1994 or 1995, when I was assistant athletic director at Charleston Southern, the Big South Conference had asked us to host the Big South tournament, and I was appointed the Big South Conference tournament director. Here I am all of a sudden, I don't know anything about hosting any kind of tournament tennis tournament at any level. But I can remember Peggy said, "Listen, bring it on. I'll make you look good." She ran the thing, made me look unbelievably good, like a lot of our city staff do for me now today. But she did an incredible job of doing all the work and making me look good as a Division I tennis tournament director, which I had no business being a part of. But Peggy ran all of that, and I can remember going to some tennis tournaments where she kind of helped and mentored some kids that weren't even from our area when things were a little bit tough at those tennis tournaments for those particular kids at a very high level. But I just can't imagine how many thousands of young people that she's not only taught tennis, but she's mentored and done great things for over 49 years, almost 50 years in that program. And I think anything we can give back to Peggy Bone, is well deserved. So thank you for your time, Madam Chair.
Yeah, thank you, Councilmember Shealy. Any other questions, comments? All right, I'll jump in. So, I mean, obviously, 49, 50 years, a staff member with, I'm shocked time and time again when I meet folks who have been here for not 10, but 20 years, but 30, 40, 50. So, I am certainly going to leave this up to the committee. It sounds like she's been a huge impact to the youth in Charleston. And, as far as policy goes, I know that I'm the first one that we have some policies that I think we have to iron some wrinkles out of that tend to kind of pop up on us. But I will leave this to the committee and go from there. But it sounds like it is well deserved, and we can take it from there and continue the conversation. Do I have a motion from the committee?
Madam Chair, I move for approval.
I'll second.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, the ayes have it. All right, moving on back to 5A, recreation updates under new business.
Thank you, Councilmember Parker. I want to say congratulations. You had a child that was a champion at the baseball tournament this past weekend in North Augusta. We had the honor of taking all-star teams to North Augusta for baseball. And as most of you know, we don't run travel leagues. We run recreation baseball, but we did have an all-star program, and those teams went to North Augusta and apparently had a great time. There was a lot of pool time, a lot of pizza time, and a lot of baseball time. But I know your team did very well. And our Peninsula team, Mayor, I'm proud to say, went 2-0 in play on Friday and went into the pool in the top seed, which is unheard of for our downtown. So we had a really good weekend. We got a girls softball team traveling this weekend to Dillon in 13-15. So a lot of good things happening for ending our spring season. We're currently taking registration for our fall season right now, which is everything we offer. I think it's soccer, it's flag football, it's tackle football, it's baseball, it's softball, it's you name it, and we're doing it. We're also in the middle of summer day camps, as well as our sports camps and specialty camps. There's kids all over the place. We've got 4 pools running. We're doing swim lessons. The golf course has been, even with the rain we've had, has been extremely busy. So it's been a busy time all over the city. We've got adult leagues going on at our tennis centers. We got tennis camps, gymnastic camps, you name it. So anyway, it's a very busy time. I'm happy to say that I think we have found someone that's going to take our rec track position in our department. We've gone out for interviews 3 times. We finally might have met the right person and asked them to come to the party. So I think that's going to be a tremendous help. I'm going to be requesting the mobile app for rec track, which will allow you to do things on your phone. The town of Mount Pleasant just added that feature, and so we've been talking to them. It's worked really well, so we're going to be adding that in our budget request. So busy time, lots going on. Happy to take any questions.
Great. No questions from me, just comments. Anyone online? Well, thank you. Y'all are doing an incredible job, as you already know, but your staff, I see it on a day-to-day basis. I'm at the fields a lot, but your staff are incredible. What those folks, our staff takes some of these children on their own time, to experience something that they don't get to experience, like the weekend in Augusta. So it's just really incredible. And obviously just all the day camps, swimming lessons, swim team, all of that. So Wonderful. So we look forward to another great fall season. Thank you. All right, moving on to parks updates.
Good morning, or sorry, good afternoon. So, capital projects maintenance updates, starting alphabetical order with Daniel Island. So we just repaired the tennis courts lights, had the request to get a balloon out of a fan. So we had to rent a lift, get folks up there to get the balloon out of the fan. We got that done. That was a council member request. James Island Rec Center, some plumbing repairs and electrical repairs happened in the building there. On the Johns Island, Island Fleming tennis courts, we installed a new drinking fountain out there with a water bottle filler, and that resurfacing work has been completed. The pickleball courts have been relocated from the location closest to the residences away. So I hope that's working better for those adjacent property owners, but that work has been completed. We'll keep moving on here. There's a new business item requesting an update or an Arthur Christopher Pool update. And if it's okay, I'll just add that into what I'm talking about here. The Arthur Christopher Pool is actually the Herbert Hazel Pool at the Christopher Center. So I went back and looked at work orders and projects, most recently to the oldest. So basically we replaced the pool pump last year, painted fencing in 2022, replaced the soffit on the building in 2022, the new door systems in 2021, added a shade structure in 2018, and the entire pool was chipped and resurfaced in 2016. So pretty much pool contractor came in, took a jackhammer, chipped out about an inch or inch and a half of servicing and resurfaced that entire pool. There was a pool leak and that remedied that issue. So that's kind of the history of larger maintenance work at that facility. And I'll keep moving on. No current plans to do anything else there other than routine maintenance. Down to Bees Landing Rec Center, repaired some tennis court lights, and at West Ashley Park, replaced a malfunctioning sewer lift pump. Onto the Peninsula Shaw Center, that capital project has been completed. Hopefully it's getting back staffed and opened up, Lori. Always something.
It's always something.
Facilities maintenance wise, tennis court lights repairs at Moultrie and Jack Adams. Over at Alma Dungy, we had a little water line issue. That repair was completed. MLK Pool replaced 2 exterior drinking fountains with newer drinking fountains that allow water bottles to be filled up. Toilet repairs and wiring for 2 fans that serve the water chiller, the pool water chiller. Christopher Center, some plumbing repairs in the men's room there. Then down to ball field maintenance over the last month, 385 baseball, softball field drags, set up fields for 15 baseball, softball games, completed the All-Star softball tournament maintenance and prep, set up for 33 other games, repainted 58 fields for play, completed layouts for summer sports at Ackerman, Bayview, Governor's Park, Harmon, Ravenel Field, West Ashley Park. That's 28 new fields for summer sports and camps. Groomed the artificial turf at Stony Field twice in preparation for the start of Burke football practices and ahead of the lacrosse tournament that goes on there. Herbicide applications specifically for nutsedge and grassy weeds in our athletic fields complete. Another round of the Miramichi Biospectrum, which I referenced during the last meeting, which is the organic style algae-based fertilization. We're doing a side-by-side comparison to see if there's a difference in effect. And then aerified all of our main athletic fields, starting to work on some worn goal mouths in various fields, to be some small patchings of sod. Now we've taken over maintenance of the infields at Johns Island Park now that the CCSD has completed their season. So when those fields get programmed for rec or club sports, we will be handling the dragging and mowing of that for those games and practices. And started another round of fertilization, and then getting bids for sand to top dress our fields for this year. So those are the maintenance updates. Happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Kronsberg. Mr. Mayor?
Can you give me us an update on the drainage project happening at Governor's Park?
Yeah, so the long story short is that permit sat on somebody's desk that was no longer working at DES, and they found it. So we have a permit now, and it sat there for months. So we're working with the consultant team to prepare bid documents to get that project out for bid. And we're gonna have to work with Recreation to make sure we schedule that work depending on where bids come in at the appropriate time. Basically, if installing drainage, slot drains every 15 feet will be pretty impactful to the field. We just got to make sure we can do it at the right time. So that's where we are on that.
Yeah, the only thing I would request there too, and I know y'all are on top of this, is just making sure that there's plenty of public notice on that. Just because it will be disruptive. It's as we talked about, long overdue, definitely needed, and we will be welcomed. It's just making sure people are aware. That's all. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Great, thank you. I know, thank you for that long list again, Mr. Kronsberg. I know some of them aren't, brand new items, a lot of maintenance, but the city puts a lot of effort into all of these fields, and I appreciate those updates, and I know other council members do as well, because there's always something, like we said. The one thing I'm curious about, because I think that is exciting to have the water fountains replaced with some updated versions, as one who fills up many a water bottle. I am just curious what the cost, did that look different at each location depending on obviously the location, or is that something we can sort of maybe phase into doing at more of some of our older, certainly our older facilities?
So typically we do that as the old ones fail or rusted out or whatever the case may be. Typically a single drinking fountain cost is about $5,000.
Mhm.
So, we try to continue to do it from place to place. So if there's any specific requests, we can certainly take a look at that.
Okay, wonderful. Hey, those little things go a long way. I really do believe it. All right, and last question, but we can sort of roll into item D if that's okay. Just with Johns Island City Park, does CCSD, so we maintain it year round, or CCSD does some of the maintenance? Do you mind reminding me? And Councilmember McBride, I can roll that into D if you don't mind.
So right now, the agreement has not been fully completed.
Understood.
But in the spirit of when St. John's is playing, the school district will be grooming and dragging the fields for their use. And then, if there are multiple activities in one day, say Recreation has something after or before, then we have to coordinate that. So
Gotcha.
it's not all, so after like a 5 o'clock practice, it's not always practical to then have a new, freshly dragged infield. So
Of course.
those are some of those scheduling challenges that we have to overcome from day to day. And then, again, in the current agreement as contemplated, there will be a heavy maintenance lift by CCSD on some of the new things that they have for St. John's specifically, but a cost share certainly for CapEx expenditures in the future. So we're working all of that out right now.
Okay, great. And again, moving into discussion regarding the addition of a grass infield. This was brought forward by Councilmember McBride. Would you like to?
Yeah, I'll just tee it up really quick. This is basically a follow-up on, I think, the November 25th Recreation Committee meeting. We had the discussion about, at the time, the parks, the baseball fields we figured we're not going to get done on time for the baseball seasons to start, and we've gotten through that. They had an opening day, everything went well with some adjustments. But in that discussion on November 25th, it was identified that the baseball field that the St. John's High School team uses, that's a beautiful field, well renovated, very happy with it. but is missing a grass infield, which my understanding is all the other teams that they play, all the other fields that they play around the Charleston area have grass infields, and that is standard for high school baseball. And ours is the only field that did not have it. I now understand that the reason wasn't programmed for that is because the city has a citywide softball league that does not use grass infields. In fact, grass infield would impede proper play of softball. So there's a conflict that I don't know if it's been fully discussed or resolved at the city level. And I don't know where it stands right now. I'll turn over to the recreation committee or team department on this one as to I've read emails that CCSD is putting money towards getting the grass infield. So I just don't know where that stands right now, but I wanted to bring it up because it's an obvious conflict that we need to talk about.
Great. I'm not sure, Mr. Kronsberg, do you have, or Ms. Yarborough?
Yeah, Lori's here, so we can both tag team on this. When CCSD came to the city, whatever year it was, to ask if they could renovate the fields for St. John's, we went through. We did a survey. So we said, how does the city use the fields? What do we use the fields for? So we went through this process. We communicated with CCSD, and the prior administration said, as long as we're not changing any of the existing uses. So Lori can kind of touch on how softball's played and the reason why that clay infield stayed clay, and CCSD knew that.
So, and I'll add one other thing, Jason, that we were looking at, it was a bigger package when CCSD originally came to us. They were talking about renovating the multipurpose field, which has no irrigation. The turf is not great. So we were looking to get more bang for the buck because that community really uses that field a lot. We've got a lot of pickup play. A lot of families go out there. It's the only public field, rectangle field that we have on Johns Island. So that was one of the reasons why Jason and I thought it was important to work with CCSD on this, because it did have an impact on what we could do for over a year and a half and a lot of the neighbors. But I cannot play adult softball on a grass infield. I have to have a clay infield to do that. Johns Island was built before I came onto the city and definitely before Jason did, but it was built with the intention of having 3 adult-sized fields. It's the only complex we have in the city that has 3 adult-sized fields, and so all of our softball leagues, the men's league and the co-ed leagues, have all been run out of there. So that's a problem. We can't move that league back over there because you need to have teams play and to have games go and umpires and the scheduling. I need more than one field at a place, which I don't have anywhere else. So we will no longer be able to offer the adult softball league at Johns Island Park if we go and turf that field and make it baseball only.
Okay, thank you. Any follow-up, Councilmember McBride? I mean, I have my thoughts, but it's your district.
Yeah, I mean, I'll admit my bias. Like, my bias is my district, of course, and the biggest impact to my district is, wanting the field to be a baseball field for the St. John's High School and all the parents and all the people that go to those games. I also recognize that if that happens, the city is going to lose its only softball league, is my understanding, Lori. It's our only softball league for the city that's played. It happens to be played on the Johns Island fields. So that's why I want to bring up the conflict. And it was said without all this background knowledge that I didn't have at the time, but it was said in the 2025 November meeting, mayor was kind of put on the spot. Yep. Okay. We're going to get a grass infield next year. So that was said. And that's why we have to clarify this, because no matter which way we're going to upset some folks. And again, I'm putting my bias out there. I prefer the grass infield, but I understand that that's going to have an impact.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Waring?
Yes, thank you. What does it cost to get a second field? Do we have the land over in that Johns Island Park to create a second field? Baseball or softball, otherwise?
Well, Before you answer that, if it's okay, do we, so they utilized all three fields? We may not be able to solve this right now, and this might be more of a discussion within the agreement that we're working on with CCSD. But so the softball league utilizes all three at the same time.
Baseball only field.
Mhm.
Field 1 is utilized by St. John's Girls High School program. That's a shorter field though.
Mhm.
Typically play on fields 2 and 3 and let teams warm up on 1. There's just not a lot of space.
Right.
Excuse me, could she come to the microphone? We can't hear on Zoom.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you, Ms. Yarborough.
My comment was, field 3 is the field that we're talking about. That field, it would be a grass infield and would be used only for high school baseball. Field 1 would be used by St. John's Girls High School with the agreement with CCSD, and it's a smaller field. Adults can hit out of that fence really easily. So we used to usually use fields 2 and 3, and we let teams warm up on 1 because there's no warm up area. The parking lot's kind of condensed. There's just not a lot of room to move. So we need that many fields at one time. Field 2 has not been repaired, and that's from the laydown area. No improvements were made to field 2, but we need 3 fields to run the league.
So, and back to, thank you, Ms. Yarborough, and back to Councilmember Waring's question. He was just wondering if we have space, I guess, to add another field on Johns Island. Everyone's shaking their head. No.
Not at
Councilmember
Johns
Waring.
Island Park.
Well, let me follow up with that. Does CCSD has a piece of property, since we partnering, do they have a piece of property on Johns Island that could be utilized for a baseball field?
I'm confident. I think I know the answer to that. Yes, I think they do have property over there, but I think that again is a much deeper conversation. But Mr. Kronberg.
There's one other property off of Plow Ground Road. It's the Ashley Hall School Athletic Complex, and they have a full-size soccer field, track, and I'm not sure if it's a baseball or softball field. We'd have to check the dimensions on that. Multi-purpose. So they were actually had come to us recently to talk about some sort of partnership with them for geographical uses.
If I may, you'll appreciate this, Councilman McBride. It's a great facility, kind of ready to go, and they're looking at, tentatively, there's a lot of wood to chop on this, but letting us use that or kind of giving that to the city in a way in exchange for us letting them use a field or fields somewhere closer to downtown, because the traffic to get to Johns Island has proven to be extremely difficult, despite.
How dare you?
Yeah, exactly. So we are working on that. We certainly, it's an intriguing idea. We always need more fields. And if there's a way to do that in a constructive way, we're going to be bringing that to this committee for review and conversation.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I
One-
completely, oh, go ahead, Ms.
Just
Mayor.
one more thing really quick,
Go ahead.
and I just think maybe if we can add this to the next month agenda, just to close the loop on this, because I'm not sure unless Jason Kronsberg is, if I read an email, but it's stated that the CCSD was already putting money towards the grass infield. Anyway, I think I don't know if we know that answer right now or not.
Yeah, we'll reach out to Steve Hamer at CCSD and get an update for what their thoughts or movement is on the whole prospectus.
Sounds great.
Okay.
So we'll definitely keep this conversation going in July, Councilmember McBride, and I
Sounds
certainly
good.
think it warrants trust me, I mean, field space, as we heard from public comment, I mean, private organizations, nonprofits, and even us as a city recreation program need more fields. So it might be
Yeah.
worth just taking a data-driven approach and looking at some field space and what we may be able to update. I have 3 great fields on James Island that I think are underutilized. I know we have fields across the city that we certainly can improve upon, but again, I think that we can continue this discussion and even broaden it. But if nothing else,
One quick
Mr. Mayor?
point I'd like to ask of staff. in light of the outlaw request and what you were just referring to, Madam Chair, um, Mr. Albert, if you could also bring, it doesn't have to be an exhaustive breakdown, but I would like to understand what North Charleston is charging for fields, what Mount Pleasant is charging for fields, kind of where we are on that, because we're hearing from groups that are saying we can't afford it, but inflation is happening and, we're not immune to that. And so I want to make sure that what we are charging is, quote, market. So it would be great to have that information when we consider things like the outlaw's request.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Sure. Do you want a microphone? Yeah. She's coming, y'all.
No, I was just gonna add that the Outlaws request is the same request that Ashley Hall has for using that field. So this is kind of a comprehensive issue that we're gonna have to address, figuring out how to use that space.
Absolutely. Stay tuned because that was on my mind for July. All right. Well, final item, and I'll make it brief. I think Ms. Yarborough touched on it. Item F, Rec Track website updates. Myself, other council members did receive both. Some of us that utilize it, some of us that have utilized it previously. We tried a while back to work with Rec Track and just get, have some updates done. I mean, this is a contract that we have with this web company. It sounds like we have an employee coming on that is probably going to take a lot of that and run with it, hopefully. But like I was saying, myself, some other council members, we always, I think, receive constructive criticism about our website, about the application, about how it's formatted, how it's laid out, and how we register our children. So I know there's always room for improvement, but specifically on this, so I just stuck it on here. I don't think we have updates at this point. I think you pretty much gave it that we might have someone joining for Rec Track, so we'll circle back to that in July, but that was just an item that it always comes to our attention during registration. All right. If nothing else, anyone on the committee, any other questions? Then this meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.